Single member LLC owners, I want to make sure you understand how to file your income tax return and stay in compliance. It is so important that you know exactly what to do because you worked so hard to grow and build this business. That is why in this video, I am going to give you the steps that you need to file your income tax returns, the steps you need to keep more of that cash in your pocket, and the steps you need to prevent an audit. But before we jump in, I'm gonna need you to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of this wealth building information. Now I'm gonna need you to get after it. Let's go. As a single member LLC, the most important thing is to make sure that your LLC is in compliance. What do I mean by in compliance? That means when you filed your LLC statement of information with the Secretary of State, you want to make sure that it is still active, that your LLC has not gone into default. So the very first thing you need to check is that your statement of information is up to date and that you are still an active, legitimate LLC that needs to file its tax return. As an LLC owner, you need to make sure you understand your filing requirements. When you set up your LLC as a single member LLC, you automatically default to filing a Schedule C inside of your personal income tax return. That means that your 1040 form that you're gonna file by April 15th, our filing extension, also needs to include a Schedule C that is going to report all the information from your LLC. However, many of you may have made an election to be taxed as an S Corp, or maybe you didn't do anything at all, or maybe you have a partner in your LLC. So it's very important for you to understand what is your filing requirement. As a single member, you should be on a Schedule C, but are you a single member? I can tell you many a times when I am reviewing documentation, getting ready to prepare someone's taxes, I find out that they made an S election, or I find out they have another member to their LLC. So understanding your filing requirement is mission critical. When you are getting ready to file your LLC tax return, you want to make sure that you have a bank account for your LLC, because I'm going to ask you for all 12 months of your bank statements for your LLC business. Now, maybe you opened up your business in May, maybe you opened it up in August. It doesn't matter. I need to get all of the bank statements that are applicable for that particular year. If your LLC is new, then your very first bank statement should have a prior balance of 0. But if I see a prior balance, I'm gonna need the bank statement before that. So it's so important that as a single member LLC, you establish a separate bank account for your LLC. Now, I want to be clear. You could literally go to the bank with your articles of organization and you can ask them to set up a separate bank account under the name of your LLC. However, that's a perfect scenario. But what if you didn't do that? If you have a bank account in your personal name that you use exclusively for your LLC income, we want to use that too. But ideally, make sure there's a bank account in the name of your LLC. Make sure all the income that you earn goes into that bank account, and make sure you're only using that bank account for your business expenses. You want to make sure your LLC has adequate books and records. And I like to use that term because you guys are smart enough to understand as future millionaires that you need to start understanding some of the tax and business lingo out there. Adequate books and records is a definition that IRS uses all the time. And you will find it in a lot of the publications dealing with tax law. Adequate books and records basically means that you are keeping your books and records in a manner in which the average person, basically an auditor of the IRS, can figure out exactly how much your income is and exactly how much your expenses are. You want to make sure you're doing that according to basic accounting principles. Get yourself QuickBooks. They have an app on the phone that you can utilize. It is a standardized program. Most bookkeepers know how to utilize it, and it will make your life so much easier. I know some of you guys want to use these spreadsheets and jot everything down because you want to go to your bank account and you want to take all your transactions and dump it into an Excel spreadsheet, and you think that is your books and records. But I am here to tell you, those are not your books and records. Knock it off. I just want to slap people that do that type of stuff. That is not it. Adequate books and records means we are taking your bank statements. We are taking your credit card statements. We're taking all of your invoices, and we are making sure that we balance everything properly, reconcile those accounts so that you do have, at the end of the day, adequate books and records. And let me tell you why that's important to you. You want to make sure that you have a balance sheet for your business that shows the amount of money you have in your bank account, that shows your equipment, your cars, your laptop, that your business has some value. Why? Because if you ever need to get business funding, you're going to need to have those items. So it's so important to start off right from the very beginning. As an LLC owner, you want to ensure that you have a profit and loss form. A profit and loss form, future millionaires, is the name of the form that we use in terms of financial statement. It's a common term that you're going to hear from banks, that you're going to hear from IRS, that you're going to hear from lenders, anybody that really wants to transact business with you from an investment perspective. A profit and loss form is going to show your total revenues coming in. A lot of times it's broken down by revenue source. As an example, tax preparation, total amount, bookkeeping, total amount, and it's going to show your expenses by category. We have certain accounting categories that we utilize that are standardized, and you want to use standardized categories. Why do you say that? Because if your tax return is going into IRS, you want it to fly under the radar. So imagine you go to a Dodger game. Yeah, I said Los Angeles Dodgers, don't play with me. Imagine you go to a Dodger game. Those boys are dressed in blue. And let's say you see somebody out there dressed in red. You automatically are going to be like, wait, what? What are you doing out on the field? If your tax return and records look different, not set up properly, IRS is going to scrutinize them more. That is why it's so important to have adequate books and records with a profit and loss that shows your income, shows your expenses, and shows your net profit. So I want to make sure that you have that. And if you don't have a profit and loss, I want you to DM me right now, P&L, profit and loss, DM me P&L, and I'll get back to you to help you out with the profit and loss. As an LLC owner, getting an EIN number, an employer identification number, or a federal employer identification number is important. Now, many times, IRS will tell you that you don't necessarily need to have an EIN number. But I am going to tell you, as an experienced business owner, get an EIN number. Why? Because when you are conducting business, when you're filling out credit applications, you want to be able to use your EIN number versus using your Social Security number. Don't give people your Social Security number because they can take it and run with it and do all sorts of things. You want to go to irs.gov and you want to apply for an EIN number. And you're going to fill out what we call an SS4 application because you want your business to be properly registered with IRS and you want your business to grow up. In order for your business to grow up, you got to start doing things that the big boys do, right? Or better yet, the big girls do. That's exactly what you want to happen. So make sure as an LLC owner that you have yourself an EIN number because these are the very important things that you're going to need in order to file your taxes correctly. As a single member LLC, there are 7 things that you need to be doing in order to properly file your tax return. You need to make sure that your single member LLC is in compliance on the Secretary of State website. You need to make certain that you have an EIN number that you're going to be utilizing. You need to have a separate bank account so that you can put your money into a separate account. You need to have adequate books and records. You need to have a profit and loss form, and you need to make sure you know the proper filing status of your LLC. Is it a single member LLC, or is it a multi-member, or is it an S corporation? Once you know better, you absolutely have to do better. That is why I want you right now to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of this wealth building information. Now I want you to get after it.